Restraints restricted. You may proceed when ready.
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Mission critical message. Shift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Commander. Decrease speed at once.
Landing gear deployed.
The stationary vessels are not permitted. This facility is end. Consignment order.
Touchdown confirmed. Execute system shutdown. Our facilities are at your disposal, Commander.
Incoming message.
Cutler disengaged. You are reminded to observe safe speeds when traversing the docking bay.
Landing gear retracted.
You are now clear of the station. Thank you, Commander. Have a splendid journey. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Orbital flight engaged.
Delta Romeo Alpha. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau has informed ground crew of your impending arrival. Please take care while docking. Your docking request has been approved. Please head directly to Docking Bay 06. Alight when ready. Welcome, Commander. Your ship has been released. Please be mindful of oncoming traffic when leaving the port.
Landing gear retracted.
Your way ahead is clear. Farewell, Commander.
Landing gear deployed. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alpha. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau welcomes you to our territory. We are honored by your visit. Restrict speed to within safe operating limits. Fly safely. Approval granted. Land on designated pad number 20.
Imperial Sovereign Territory. Look forward to serving you in the East, and thank you for choosing Alpha Shifters.
Touchdown confirmed. Ship secured. We trust this facility will serve you well, Commander.
It is with sincere apologies that we must remind commanders. Access to the doctor bay is restricted to authorized pilots only. Welcome to Imperial Sovereign Territory. We look forward to serving your interests and thank you for choosing our facilities. Once your vessel has received your permission, commence in flight.
Landing coupler disengaged. You may proceed when ready.
Landing gear retracted.
You are cleared to resume predetermined flight path. Thank you, Commander. Have a splendid journey.
charging. Frameshift drive charging.
my mic working? Can anybody hear me? Testing. Can anybody hear me? Is my mic working? Testing. Is my mic working? Okay. Can anybody hear me? There we go. I think my mic's working.
Frameshift drive charging.
Alright, so finally I can answer your questions by voice. You can hear me, right, William, the chosen one? Alright. So, I was traveling through a lot of uninhabited areas to get back. I should engineer my Python to get better jump range, but I was wondering whether I'd bother engineering my Python or just wait till I upgrade to a Conda. Let me scan the star here.
So I have 220 also.
All these failed missions.
What's your speed?
It's a shame Quince was making me so much money.
What's your speed? 150.
I've still got 19 jumps before I get back to the major areas.
I'm sure.
Oop, too close to the star. I'm gonna burn up. Better get away. Start with smoke. Shoo. Got a little too close there.
Frameshift drive charging.
Well, for me, 19 more until I get to the system I want to get to. I was really far away from civilization, though. Normally, you could jump star to star when you're in the what's called the bubble. That's where all the colonizations are. Then each jump, you're at a new system, and there's usually starports or bases and moon bases or whatever. But I just happened to be really far because Quince was like a really, really far populated world.
It has to have your right for yours. Any it has to have right any like anywhere in the name has to have right in it, and mine has to have left anywhere.
Like some people will like put.
I use saddle.
I only have a discovery scanner, but you can get a detailed surface scanner, and some people will take ASPs because they have good jump range, and they'll go to every one of these systems, and they will literally go and scan every single one of these objects because you can get millions of dollars of scan data. Problem is 265,000 light seconds away is probably 15 to 20 minutes of real life to reach these objects of just speeding out there. So that's just, I've never had the patience to do just tons of exploration. But you can see some really nice stuff though. And you can land on all sorts of planets, and some planets have ice geysers, and others have lava flows. There's all sorts of things you can see. Sometimes there's passenger missions where you take tourists to see like various like natural rock formations or geysers. It's pretty cool actually sometimes running passenger missions.
Frameshift drive charging.
I was asking. I have the
Yeah, there's 400, they're literally, no joke, 400 billion stars you can jump to and explore in this game. 400 billion. So literally, there are players who go out there and they go far away from civilization and all they do is explore. The problem is once you get far from civilization, there's no space stations to land at, there's nowhere to sell your data, there's nowhere to buy new equipment. So fuel scoop is necessary, but you can get yourself stranded, and the game only saves your progress at the last space station. So if you die or blow up, you basically start at the last space station you were at, and you could lose like a lot of your travel time, all of your trade data, your exploration data, all that stuff could be lost if you get killed. Although you could buy modules to repair, you know, an AFM can repair your ship if you get damaged by heat and stuff like that. The good thing is usually in unexplored space you don't have to worry about pirates, or as long as you're not traveling with cargo, you usually don't have to worry about pirates. When you're traveling with cargo, that's when you have pirates. Though you never know if you encounter a random alien at Target. There's also what's called mega ships hidden throughout the galaxy. Basically, the way the lore works in the game is like, I guess 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, Earth sent out 70,000 megaships. Think of these like giant cities, like skyscrapers ships, that they just sent out before they invented hyperspace. So they sent them out to colonize other worlds. And out of these 70,000 ships, that's how the various star systems got populated. But a lot of the ships never made it. So you can find stranded ships, and they have like recordings and messages, and there's a lot of secret things with some of the stranded ships. People have been discovering and reporting the stranded ships on the forums, these mega ships, and they actually have audio recordings and stuff like that. You know what? I should have probably used my fuel scoop there and maxed out. I haven't found a mega ship yet myself. Oh, of course I haven't been looking, because I've been pretty much grinding my way towards the Anaconda. Then I was going to engineer it and give myself better jump. I don't like to travel with less than half a fuel tank, and so I'm going to have to fuel scoop here. I have a very powerful fuel scoop with a 5 class fuel scoop, so I can scoop pretty fast. But you never know when you get to a star where you can't scoop, because you can't scoop brown dwarfs, you can't scoop certain stars, so you should always scoop when you can. Some people say the game's boring, but I never find it boring, because I make my own adventure. Another thing is, the one thing unrealistic about the game is, when you die, you just respawn. You could pay insurance and rebuild your ship, or you could start over the game, but you're the same, your character, your human never dies. So one thing I like to do is, if I die, I like to redo my character and make it look like I'm the son of my character, just to add some realism. It's unrealistic that when your ship blows up and you die, you're alive back at the nearest space station, unless your body's cloned. But they don't talk about like having clones or anything like that. There are various weapons. Like right now, I have 2 beam lasers. Oops, let me get away from the star. I'm overheating over here. I have some heat sinks, so if I get too close to the star and I start cooking, I could drop a heat sink, which will cool me off. But I don't want to use them up yet. Heat sinks are a good way to drop your heat. Basically discards all your heat in a module and temporarily gives you a cooldown. So I have 2 beam lasers and 3 multi-cannons. But there's various other weapons. You can get missiles, torpedoes, frag cannons, burst lasers, pulse lasers. You know, there's all sorts, depending on what type of loadout. Plasma accelerators. A lot of different weapons. Different people like different weapons for different reasons. And every ship carries a different weapon loadout. Like some ships only carry 2 guns. This one happens to carry 5, but you can get ships that can carry 7 weapons. And you always have to balance out the weapon. Like I can't use 5 beam lasers because I would overheat my ship, and so you have to use a combination. Cannons and multi-cannons will use ammo, which you could run out of, but they don't actually generate heat, and you can just constantly shoot them and they refill. The cool thing about cannons and multi-cannons is if you harvest minerals like I do, you could synthesize and you could refill your own, or you can look for rare elements and create and put ammunitions that do extra damage inside your cannons. Beam lasers and multi-cannon combination. The beam lasers strip shields faster, and the multi-cannons will pound through a hull. Beam lasers are not very effective against the hull, especially if they have thermal armor. So I like beam lasers to strip away shields, and then I like multi-cannons. Some people will use frag cannons, and they'll use one thing there's in the game that I haven't told you about is there's engineers scattered throughout the galaxy. They can upgrade any of your base components. I haven't done them yet because usually you have to run a lot of missions from and stuff like that, but you can make your weapons even better. Like you can make your beam lasers not generate as much heat, you can make your jump drive have more range, make your shield stronger. So I do need to actually go to an engineer eventually. I was gonna go to 1 and upgrade my multi-cannons, but frag cannons can be made really good. I was almost destroyed by a player earlier today who had incendiary frag cannons, and he basically 2 shots just stripped my shields, and I just got out by the skin of my teeth. And I have a $7 million rebuy cost if my Python gets blown up. Wait, I should have scanned that Star Wars fan. I didn't scan that star, I should have scanned it. So I'll show you over at the bottom right. I'll show you what the HUD is. So over at the bottom right here, you see a sys. That's your system. That's like your shield regeneration. You got your engine, and you can pump your pips in to give you a little boost, and then your weapons. So, and then of course your default is 2 pips in each. When your shields drain, you're going to want to boost your shields back and recover them by increasing your sys. Although they sometimes drain really. They don't recover very fast. If you lose your shields, you're in trouble. You can get shield cell units, which will regenerate your shields, but they generate a lot of heat, and you can only use them before your shields drop. Mass lock means you're too close to a planet or an object that has gravity, and you can't pull away from it for hyperspace. You have to get away from the mass lock. Landing gears, of course, when your landing gear is deployed. Cargo scoop is when your cargo scoop is deployed, because you could scoop up cargo and various things like that you find. There's random encounters in systems, which I haven't showed you yet. I'll show you when we get to the populated systems. Random encounters are like these little you'll see them show up on the map, and then you could scan them and find out what they are. They're either going to be a convoy, sometimes they're the aftermath of a battle, sometimes you can get rare objects like trade data or art objects, things like that. So there is random encounters in the game as you get towards populated areas. I'll show you random encounters. Let me get to where I'm going. Sometimes random encounters are fun, sometimes you have to do them for missions. Now, if you want to be a pirate, you can get what's called a frame shift interdictor, which you could use to pull somebody else out of hyperspace or interdict them, so that way you can attack them. Some players will prey on other players that way. They'll interdict other players and kill them. Some people can be merciless in this game.
Try it. It's like it bans you and says for racism.
See, but you only tend to run to other players when you go to very populated areas or where other players are. With 400 billion stars and a couple of maybe 100,000 players, I've only run to other players occasionally.
It's like you get banned and then
Usually like when there's a popular community event going on, I'll run to other players. Or if you're in the major home systems stars, the engineer stars, things like that. Yeah, a lot of like griefers will grief people, because when you start in the game, you start with the weakest ship in the game, and the cheapest is a Sidewinder. It's a good starter ship. It's the only ship you start with. Then usually you work way up into an Eagle, which is a bounty hunter ship, or a Viper. A lot of people like the Cobra Mach 3, which is for 300,000 credits, and you could deck it out. It's a good explorer ship. It's a good bounty hunter ship. There's a lot you could do with it. Before this ship, I was the Federal Drop Ship, which was a cargo ship. And then before that, I was a Vulture, which is a pure combat ship. There's also multi-crew. I'm in a ship that I can actually invite somebody if I want to be multi-crew with me. That just came out in the newest release. So I'll show you what multi-crew looks like. So, various camera settings. See, I have an empty passenger seat next to me. If I wanted a crew member, I can invite another player. He could take over. If I had turret guns, he can actually take control of my turret guns and shoot in combat while I do the piloting. If I was mining, he could take over my mining, lasers, things like that. If I had a fighter bay, which this vessel doesn't carry one, he could fly my fighter and fight. And actually, while I was in the mothership, he could fly the fighter. So the camera angles are pretty cool, actually, in this game. They only added all these camera angles in the recent update, so it's really you get some really nice shots with your inside camera. That's all relatively new. They didn't have that. They didn't have any of those camera angles in the original game. You couldn't see inside the cockpit like that. It's all the newer release. Some people will actually make up their own like SRV racing, like Fast and the Furious. They'll actually like go to moons, and they'll all land their ships on the moons. They'll take out their SRVs, which is like a moon rover, and they'll do like SRV racing on moon surfaces. I've seen these videos. It's really amazing what players do. Some people will actually gather a whole together, and then they'll form like formations in the stars. But there's one thing people don't like about Elite Dangerous primarily is it's a peer-to-peer network game that uses instances. So I think the maximum number of players that could ever be in the same instance is 32 at a time, maybe 64. Maybe somebody commenting can correct me on that. But unlike a game that runs on servers, you can never be in an instance with more than 32 or 64 players at the same time. There could be thousands of people playing, but each they're all siloed into instances, so there can never be more than a certain amount in the same instance. And because it's peer-to-peer and it's constantly sending traffic and updates to each other, it can get a bit laggy when there's a lot of players in the same system, because it's constantly having to send traffic to each other. And asteroid belts are just crazy with how much data it has to send. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff to see in this system. Let me scan this star here. Nice scoop going on. Like I said, I used to have a puny fuel scoop in a smaller ship that could only scoop like 60 or 50 fuel per second. This one could go up to 577. So I could. This Python's decked out for exploration, and I actually got passenger bays right now. You can see my modules. I've got let's see what I got here. I've got let's see what I got here. And then I'll show my bays here. Anyway, I've got. Right now, 96 cargo slots. I've got a first-class cabin. I was running all passengers, but I switched to running a combination of cargo and passengers. See, these are mostly just asteroid belts, and you don't get hardly any credits for scanning asteroid belts, so they're not worth scanning ever. Only people who are really you know, obsessed will scan asteroid belts. You get very little trade data for asteroid belts. You get mostly trade data from planets, gas giants, stars themselves, rare objects like black holes and pulsars and things like that give you a lot of trade data. If I had a detailed surface scanner, I'd be more scanning planets because that gives you more data on the planet like that. So I don't have a detailed surface scanner on me, so I'm not going to get as much trade data from planets. I'm just doing this to make some data on my jumps. So I at least scan the star. I don't usually skip a star. So I know I've been there too. I'll still close into the bubble and see if I can get to another bubble. And I use a docking computer. I never used to. For the first year I played, I never used a dock computer because I could dock fast. But I realized that docking computer is a great way where you can just get up and go get a drink or go to the restroom and let your computer dock you in a station for you. And certain large ships can only land on large docking pads. So depending on what ship you have, it affects what systems you can dock in and what things like that. So that's why some people like the smaller ships too. Let me get close to this one. It's a bright star. I'm blind.
Yes, it does.
You know what? To my knowledge, there isn't, because it saves the trade data in a cloud for the game, for the Elite Dangerous game, right? I've been scanning stars for over a year. Again, I've got over 1,700 hours in this game, and every single star I've scanned, it remembers it. So, because it isn't storing it locally, so if you delete the game on your computer and you log back in, you're not going to lose any of your trade data. It keeps all your progress stored on the servers. So I assume it uses some servers to store that data. Let me see how many jumps I have left till I get to where I want to go. Any populated
It's so
areas?
much colder in here.
God, I'm still so far from population. I mean, I didn't even go over the fact that there's trading. So different star systems have different economies. Some will be agriculture, some will be mining, some will be tourism, and you can do trading between various star systems, including looking for rares. So there's like a real lot. Some people really, just bounce between systems. And in Elite Dangerous, there's 3 major factions. I'll show you on my screen here. So there's your 3 major factions are the Federation. Pretty much stole that right out of Star Trek, right? Federation. There's the Empire. Again, sounds like something out of Star Wars. Federation, Empire, and Alliance. I am actually aligned with the Alliance because I believe in the reputation of the Alliance. They're basically a free enterprise, free market. They're kind of like the neutral. Federation's a little militaristic, although they are considered the good guys. The Empire, they legalize slavery, and there's Imperial slaves you could trade, so I'm not really big on Empire. The only thing is, there's certain ships in the game, like Federal Assault Ship, Federal Dropship, Federal Gunship, and the Federal Corvette, where you have to be ranked up in the Federation or you're not allowed to buy those ships. And the Imperial Empire also has the Imperial Cutter, Clipper, and the Imperial Cutter, Clipper, and Courier, which are Empire ships, which you have to rank up to afford those ships. The Alliance is the only one of the super factions that doesn't have dedicated ships. So there's no ranks. So that's the only thing about the Alliance that I don't like, is the fact that there's no dedicated Alliance ships or custom Alliance ships and no ranking in the Alliance. But I'm Alliance because you could do other things with Alliance. Like if you reach a certain rank level, you can get certain special weapons like beam, gun modules and things like that. Now, to make things more complicated, those are your superpowers. You could choose to align with a superpower, or you can never align with a superpower. Yeah, when you become ranked and allied with one superpower, you tend to be seen as an enemy with the other superpower. So another superpower who's like Federation Empire against each other, they could shoot you and not be wanted. Normally, if you get shot at in a system, people get a bounty on the head. The police or whatever equivalent come out and destroy them and things like that. So usually you can become wanted in opposite systems. But in addition to the 3 major factions, which you don't have to join any of them, every single star system has its own local factions. So you could become an ally and a hero in various local factions, and some people will just stay between one or two star systems and become like super ranked, because the higher rank you are with the local factions, the more money missions they give you. You start off with really cheap missions like worth 20, 30,000 credits, but the higher ranking you can get some missions worth 400, 500,000, a million credits a mission. So every single star system has local factions, and I've got rankings in local factions all over the galaxy practically. But usually you want to align to the main, because if you don't do federal missions, or now you don't even have to like align to a faction to do those missions. That's only if you want to be involved in power play. Power play is where you can actually influence which faction owns the galaxy. So with power play, you can actually physically help your power expand and take over new star systems, undermine other star systems. So players who are really big into power play will actually like expand their power into new stars, undermine other powers so they lose control of a star system. You can actually influence what happens to a star system. If you want one local faction to take over from another, you can actually cause lockdowns, civil wars by running missions for one faction. You gain that faction reputation, and then eventually if it reaches a reputation that reaches critical mass compared to another, you can cause civil wars in star systems and lockdowns, and each system has its own economy. It's actually an amazing amount. But again, it's all you make your own story. There is no campaign other than some scattered bits of lore, and they're supposed to be bringing in more. It's really what you make out of it. You make your own adventure. Think of it like an RPG game where you're your own player character. A lockdown in a system means that they usually close the commodities market, and they don't allow passengers to leave, and they even don't allow you to outfit your ship. They don't allow you to bring in and change your guns out or loadout and stuff like that. It basically is a system that's in a civil war, and you can align with one party or the other, where you can usually do big missions and trade in bounties for killing one side or the other. That was what I was doing in Quince. I was actually aligned with one faction. Quince was in a lockdown in a civil war for a while there, but I was doing tons of bounty missions, killing one faction for another.
Fuel scooping complete.
There's a lot of objects in this system. Ooh, nice gas giant. Oh, by the way, if you're the very first person to explore a star system, you'll permanently have your name first discovered by. So, I've never ventured that far out. I actually might have some systems I've discovered, because I play this game as a Kickstarter, but it's kind of like your name's permanently out there in history. You're the first person to ever discover the system. So with 400 billion stars, there's always going to be those people who go out there and get their name as the person who discovered that star system. That would be the very first person that did a scan of that system and those objects. Now, just because they scanned it and they discovered it doesn't mean that it won't be unknown for me. Each person has to scan their own systems, or else they're going to be unknown for them. Now, you could purchase trade data for most systems if you're too lazy. Like, you want to see what imports and exports that system has, that kind of thing.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, I'm still 9 jumps away. Now, if you think that's bad, there's like a big boom going on in Colonia right now, which is 23,000 light years away. Literally, people say it takes them 2 weeks of doing what I'm doing, just jumping like this for 1 to 2 weeks. Imagine 8 hours a day just doing jumps for a week or two. That's how far away some of these people are. Hey, congratulations on getting your Corvette. How long did it take you to rank up to to where you can get a Corvette?
Fuel scooping.
Alright, while I'm scanning that, let's see if I got anything fun around me. Any signs of life. Still not near any. I'm getting closer, not next to the bubbles. See, this shows you who owns what systems of power play, right? And then,
Fuel scooping complete.
let's see, I'm not near any. What's the closest thing I can get to here? See, the map is not only you can scroll up and down, you can scroll this way. It's a completely three-dimensional map, in and out. It's amazing how many stars. They did an amazing job with the stars here. You could scan left and right. Look at these jumps I got. Ooh, we start getting some life. When you start seeing colored stars, that means they're aligned to a system. You can see the population 3,570. These are way out there though. And you got population here of 100,000. Gray stars will have no population. They're just considered, zero population. But let's go take a look at and see what's these populations. I've never been to these stars, so let's go see what's out one of these. Whoa, I am way too close. I'm gonna drop a heat sink. I didn't realize it was cooking so bad. You see how I dropped a heat sink and it immediately cooled me off? Buys me some time to get away from the star. See, that's the thing, when you're in the map, it's easy to accidentally crash into an object, overheat and die. There's no pausing in this game, so anything you do, like going into the map, you're not paused, you're vulnerable. I literally had not paid attention. I might have cooked myself and blew up my ship. I would have overheated my modules and died. But fortunately I have some heat sinks to do things like that. That's why people who do a lot of exploration, they'll have AFM modules which can repair their vessel if they accidentally overheat and they damage their modules. You need to be able to repair your ship when you do long-term exploration for mistakes like that. Or sometimes you jump into an area with a really strong star or gravity, or for instance pulsars, you could be super far away from them and they'll still burn your ship up. Black holes too, so you need to be able to repair your ship. The thing is, they repair modules but not hull damage, but I don't think heat can cause hull damage. I think it just causes module damage. Let's do some more scanning. Again, I've been playing Elite on the Commodore 64 in 1985, which is surprisingly similar. And Frontier on the Amiga computer. I've been a fan of this type of game for a long, long time.
Fuel scooping complete.
You have to go. The only way to repair hull damage is to go to a ship, is to actually go to a space station or a landing port that can repair it. To my knowledge, you can't repair hull damage at all from inside space. I wish they could actually. Oh crap! I missed the scan there. Because when you have a SRV, which is like your lunar module, you can use raw materials to repair your SRV on a lunar surface. So I wish there was a way to deploy a little drone that could do hull repairs, maybe fuse. You could watch it like weld and fuse and repair your ship, because your ship will actually show damage. It isn't just a number, right? If I had hull damage and then I take the camera out of my ship, you'll actually see exposed wires. You'll see my hull panels blown off and stuff like that. The game does a real good job of showing you actual wear and tear damage. Also, you have modules, and when you target another ship, you could target their modules. So if you I was in a dropship once, and a Federal assault ship came after me, and it targeted my thrusters, and it shot my engines out from under me, and I was just stranded. I couldn't get away. I basically was basically just preyed upon until I got blown up. So stuff like that can happen. Usually NPCs are not smart enough to shoot out your modules, but other players definitely are. They'll shoot out your modules and they'll take advantage of crippling your ship real badly. Ooh, random encounter. You want to see what it looks like? So I'm going to scan this unidentified signal, and you see this is a distress call. Now, 50% of the time, a distress call is a trap, and there'll be people waiting for you to hijack you and attack you. The other time, there is an actual distressed person, and they ran out of fuel. There is a way to give other people fuel, but you have to carry a slot called a limpet, and you have to have fuel limpets where you could shoot fuel to another ship, and I never carry those. So I've never been able to rescue somebody who's needed fuel yet, even though so I leave them abandoned, which I feel bad about that, but oh well, it's just a game. So let's see. And there's a threat level of 0 to 4. Because this is a threat to 2, that means this is likely to be somebody waiting as a trap. But even threat level 0s can be a trap and trick you. Threat level 4 is I can't take a threat level 4. It's usually multiple anacondas, vultures. Threat level 4 is too high. I could usually take a threat level 1 or 2, no problem, in a Python. Let's see what we got here. Asp Explorer. Ah, crap. He's a legitimate guy that needs fuel, and I don't have any fuel to give him. Nothing I could do for him. It's a shame. Now, see, if I had limpet modules and fuel limpets, I could shoot him fuel and give him one I think, ton of fuel for each shot, but I've never done that before. Now, I'm in an anarchy system or lawless system. If I wanted to be really mean, I could blow him up and let him respawn. And I can't suffer any I won't get wanted because I'm in an anarchy system and I can shoot him. So, you want me to just do that? Since you haven't seen my beam lasers, I'll show you. I'll just show you. Yeah, there is. So here's the thing. There's voice, and you can go what's called a wing. You invite players to a wing, and then you could chat with each other, and you can all talk to each other with voice. And the cool thing is, the in-game mic, it makes it sound like an old-style ham radio, where it has a little bit of feedback and a little bit of background hiss, so it almost sounds like you're really talking, and your voice is going out over space. It's actually really, really cool. It's really, really clever. So I'm gonna show you. My beam lasers will shoot out shields, and my cannons will. Again, I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm in an anarchy system. I won't pick up any fines. You can see my heat rising from my beam lasers. I'll unload the cannons on them. It's an anarchy system. He's got no fuel. I'm doing a favor. I did him a favor. Now, when a ship blows up, it releases various materials. Sometimes they'll drop cargo if they have it, and then you can collect the materials and use those for engineers to mod your ship. I know. I did him a favor. He was stranded out here. Yeah, anarchy systems means there's no laws. It's basically Wild West. If you get kill warrant scanners, you could find that people have bounties and are wanted in other systems and earn some credits for killing them. But anarchy systems are the most dangerous. My heat's not increasing, I should be okay. Let's see how many jumps. Okay, not too many jumps to that independent system, so. You can also create bookmarks for various. Season 3? You mean Season 4, right? 2.3 just came out. 2.3 was Commanders. Oh, 1.3 was Commanders. Let's see. Let's get around the start here. Oh, 3.0. No idea. Some people wanted Elite to be more like a Star Citizen, where you can get out of your ship and like have like a first-person aspect of it, as well as, you know. It's kind of like, I wish No Man's Sky had the space exploration of Elite Dangerous, but Elite Dangerous had the planetary stuff of No Man's Sky. Like, there's no life forms on any planets in Elite Dangerous. As of current, there's no atmospheric landings. They might add that in the future, but the only things you can land on are atmosphereless moons. But if they add atmospheric landings, I'd like to see, like, you can land your ship and explore and actually see life forms. But there's no life forms at all on any planets or any surfaces in Elite Dangerous at this time. But it would be nice if they did allow exploration and scanning of life forms and add just a little bit of elements from No Man's Sky into it. That would totally make the game even better. Like, imagine if you can, you know, pick up like critters from like rare critters from different planets and then actually trade and sell those critters instead of just simple cargo and trade stuff. I think that would be really cool if you can get into, like, you know, exactly. That would be pretty cool. Like No Man's Sky did the whole creatures thing perfectly. They should like have surfaces with creatures in Elite Dangerous. I just think it would add a little more to it. The universe just feels a little empty in Elite Dangerous because there's only humans, there's no other life forms, there's no plants to land on, there's no plants, there's no animals. They just need. This is a nice little dual star system here. You see this? It's pretty cool. Take a look at the camera here. Look at this. Binary star system. I'm telling you, see some amazing things in Elite. Some people just take some amazing screenshots with this game. Wow, look at that. That's freaking fantastic looking. Tell you, see some amazing stuff in this game. Some amazing stuff. At least I didn't burn up from those 2-star systems. I tell you, sometimes I just get amazed at the beauty of the stars. Like some of the stars, some of the planets, some of the planet surfaces. I mean, it's just incredible. Some of it's just really amazing.
Frameshift drive charging.
But it's a very, very relaxed and chill game. This is the kind of game unless you're attacked by pirates or you want to go PvP, you can just sit around, listen to music. In some of my videos, I listen to, various music soundtracks and things like that just to like explore the stars. I actually got to get off the stream pretty soon and start making dinner. But pretty much gave you a tutorial over the whole game almost. Except I haven't shown you mining yet. I haven't gotten to a system. Ooh, I'm almost at the independent system. Let's see what's in there. I've never been there before, I don't think. It's in the store here. I'll show you what my trade data is worth when I get there to see if I get any trade data. You have to get at least 20 light years away from a star system to sell your trade data. They won't let you sell your trade data if the star is within 20 light years because it's considered too close. Trade data is not worth anything. Shalaticus. It's a weird name. Oh, it's right behind here, huh? I'm gonna fuel scoop though. I don't like being on this fuel. Let me get real close so I can get my fuel faster. There we go, 577. Max out on fuel. That's some super scooping right there. There we go. Pull away. I think once you hit 100% heat, you start suffering module damage. Maybe over 90%.
Frameshift drive charging.
And that's the beauty of YouTube. Every single video you stream to YouTube turns into a permanent video that'll just become public after. I usually don't have time to go back and edit them. I just leave them in their raw form. But something else about combat is there's all sorts of defense measures like chafe, which can break a lock of weapons. There's heat sinks. There's ECMs. There's point defenses, which can shoot missiles down in case people shoot you missiles, things like that. Oh, let's see, we got some close space stations here. Civilian broadcast detected. Oh, what's that? I've never seen that before. I don't know if that's a point to interest or what. I've never seen this type of an event before. Civilian broadcast detected. I've never even heard of that. I have to see what this is. This might be something new. That's a good question. So some ships are large, like the Anaconda, that they have enough gravity that they prevent you from jumping unless you can get a distance away from them. Small ships, they could shoot at you and you could jump away as they're shooting at you. But large ships like Anacondas, they have their own sense of gravity to where you have to get distance away from them. Usually you can escape a battle if you're a fast ship or you have your engineered engines to be faster. You can escape battle. Like if my shields go out, I'll flee. I'll retract and I'll try to jump away and boost away as fast as possible. It's 7 million credits a death. I don't want to have to rebuy my ship. Let's see what this is. Civilian broadcast. This might just be a tourism attraction, but it might actually be something else. So let me see what it is. It's very easy to go too fast and accidentally overshoot where you're going. So I usually stay within 6 or 7 seconds distance, and then that's the usually good range. Or else if you overshoot, it takes a while to come back around. There's also some really amazing planets. I landed on a lava planet one time. It's pretty cool. Some amazing planet. Like what? Look at that planet. It's got like a one chunk of ice on the bottom of it or something like that. It's pretty neat looking. I really like looking at the planets in this game. Some of the planets are just amazing. Alright, let's see what this is here. And when you're in hyperspace, when you get to the blue, like the distance and speed, like when I get to within, you know, that's when you could press J and jump out of hyperspace. Or this is super cruise, not hyperspace. Hyperspace is when you jump between stars. Super cruise is when you just go super fast and you navigate around solar systems. Yeah. There we go. Let's see what this is. I've never seen this in a broadcast before. Let's see what I'm looking at here. I don't see anything other than a huge amount of ships. I don't like see anything I can scan. These are a whole bunch of refugee ships. They're all clean. Nobody is a pirate. These are just refugees. Interesting. Don't know if this is anything I can do. Oh well. It was cool to check out, but nothing there. Time to go to a big station.
Frameshift drive charging.
I'm surprised Type 9s don't cause mass lock.
2, 1, engage.
Or maybe they only do if you're in combat with them. Maybe you don't get mass lock when something's neutral. But no, even anacondas will cause mass lock if they're neutral. Let's get to the station here. Let's not too fast. Ooh, the station has poles on the side.
Delta, Romeo, Alpha, please comply with all regulatory protocols before commencing docking procedures, Commander.
Some people said the auto dock can accidentally crash you, but I haven't had it crash me yet, but I do keep my eyes on it. I see sometimes it could like crash right on the side of a station. Yeah, it does. But the cool thing about auto dock is I can now do some camera. I'll show you. The auto dock's taking over. See, it keeps hitting my thrusters there. Coming in on the station here. Now, the external camera is something new they added to Elite 2. It's so awesome. You can take some amazing shots with the external camera. Let's get in low, come into the station, get closer. I just do it just for the fun of it. The detail and realism is just really cool. Like you can see like advertisement commercial banners and holograms and different landing pads, and there's always construction going on in these things. I can see what it looks like from inside. See, you can see what it's looking like from his point of view. Coming in. Cameras are so awesome. It's piloting ship. Well, it's autopilot. There's my lower camera showing you my landing gears. Touching now. Let's get into the hangar.
mission completed. Engage document. Enjoy your stay at our facility, Commander.
Restock, refuel. No, see, sell my exploration data. See, almost 1 million credits in exploration data. Let's sell that. Alright, and when you sell exploration data, it actually gives you like ranking in the local reputation in the local faction. I did that too. And of course, this place has missions, I'm sure. Yep, tons of missions, data delivery missions. Because it's independent, they have no faction, no big faction. So I'll come back in and run missions later. Let's see if we can have passenger missions. Ooh, expensive passenger missions. Too far away. Do we have anything close? Tomani. It's 2 million for. 2 million for. It's about 5 jumps for me. I've been to VAM. The ice geysers on VAM. Yeah. Alright, I gotta go make dinner now, so I'm gonna stop the stream, but I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching, man. Have a good time.